Previously, the time had come for Tianming to avenge his first life-bound beast. He wanted to execute Xiaoding in his own hands, so he decided to fight alone against Xiaoding with his twin beast. To their surprise, Tianming was so powerful and Xiaoding was already wounded and he was kneeling on the ground. Tianming even teased him and challenged him to fight more. Everyone in the crowd was jaw-dropping seeing Tianming in the lead even without his life-bound beasts. Tianming rushed to Xiaoding fearlessly, and Xiaoding also did the same. Xiaoding was holding his scarlet electro halberd and he was attacking Tianming with it, but Tianming only used his metal arm to block the enemy's attack. Xiaoding was shocked upon seeing that Tianming was easily blocking his weapon. At this point, he ordered his two life-bound beasts to rip Tianming into shreds. But then, before both beasts can go near Tianming, Tianming strikes an attack using the demise of man, spectral dance, and Xiaoding's lightning eagle is slashed into its wing. The eagle fell to the ground near Tianming, and Tianming ordered Yingqiu and Miao Miao to rip out all of the eagle's feathers and store it away. He will put it before Mita's grave. Xiaoding was furious and immediately cast his Saint Beast War Soul. It was the War Soul that he stole from Tianming 3 years ago. He then rushed to Tianming with his remaining beast and Tianming also dashed to face him. He still remembers every detail that happened 3 years ago. Xiaoding attacked Tianming at a fast speed and everyone was looking above to witness the fight. Tianming is also attacking Xiaoding in a speedy move. Even the audience cannot see anything because of how fast they are. Although Tianming is fighting against two opponents, it's still obvious that he's much faster. Xiaoding was annoyed because Tianming is fighting with ease even though Xiaoding's Scarlet Sueni Beast is giving it all out. Tianming saw an opening and seized the opportunity to punch Xiaoding in the face. Xiaoding vomits blood and he flew away to his life-bound beast. Tianming at this time is holding the sword that Sage Chen gave to him and he throws it exactly to Xiaoding. The sword was struck on the ground in front of Xiaoding and Tianming cast his demise of Earthquaker. Xiaoding's eyes becomes big as he saw how big the flame is and it was heading to him. The two vice inspectors were dumbfounded as they witnessed that the technique Tianming casting is giving off heavenly will stage vibes. And the king on the side is secretly happy as he supported the Y clan. Xiaoding was full of bruises and lumps and he was sad to see that his last life-bound beast is also dead because it blocked the Earthquaker to save him. Your Scarlet Sueni Beast was willing to die for you. You're even worse than a bastard, Tianming uttered. Xiaoding grits his teeth and even though both of his life-bound beasts are all dead, he still cannot accept that he lost the match. He stands and activates a taboo technique, Devil Blue Incantation. Everyone was shocked and even Jiang Feiling was worried for Tianming. But Tianming was not surprised and he was still calm. Xiaoding guffaws as he thought that he would win this time, but then Tianming choked him. Tianming was staring at Xiaoding with hatred and he slammed Xiaoding on the ground. Xiaoding cannot believe that he cannot still able to fight despite that he used the Devil Blue Incantation. He is also confused about how Tianming becomes so strong after 3 years and he concludes that Tianming might hide his true strength all this time. Tianming was still choking him until he admit that he was wrong. He also accepts defeat and he was begging for a quick death. Wishful thinking. Give you a quick death. Who will pay for what I experienced for the past 3 years then? The world is fair. For every debt, there is a debtor, and I have finally come to collect. Tianming answered. Xiaoding is already crying, and he remembered the time after he stole the Saint Beast War Soul from Tianming. He showed it to his grandfather, and his grandfather asked where did he found it. He then answered that he got it from a poor, powerless countryside boy. His grandfather also asked if he killed the true owner of the Soul Beast, and he answered no. He was boasting that Tianming was yelling and screaming about sending him to hell one day, that's why he murdered Tianming's life-bound beast. I even pushed the blame on him and made it, so I was the hero of the story. Did I do it right, Grandpa? He added. But then, his father was in favor that he should have killed Tianming and searching for Tianming's background to rid the world of those related to him. At this present battle, Xiaoding's grandfather, the Lighting Manor's patriarch, was also crying and was begging the vice inspectors to save his grandson. But no one listens to him. Tianming continued torturing Xiaoding in front of the audience and everyone can hear the painful scream of Xiaoding. The audience looks away and some covered their ears. Lin Xiaoding's screams continued for an hour. Those were mournful screams. Perhaps, centuries later, this would still be passed on from parent to childhood. The story of the day Lin Xiaoding suffered the punishment of death by 1,000 cuts. Since the Yulin clan and the Lightning Manor lose the duel, the vice inspectors regretted picking the Vermilion Bird, thinking that the Lightning Manor would be strong enough to help the Yulin clan. After the battle, Tianming took back the Saint Beast War Soul that was originally to him. and Yixuan now believed that the true owner of the war soul is Tianming. He called Tianming and Tianming politely answered him. As per Yixuan, since Lin Xiaoding is dead and Tianming reobtained his Saint Beast War Soul, Tianming can replace Lin Xiaoding and go to Heaven's Elysium. Upon hearing it, Tianming was surprised by the vice inspector's offer. The sun started rising. Yixuan said that if Tianming wanted to accept the offer, he can go to the Heaven's Elysium after 3 days. According to him, everything Lin Xiaoding has is now to Tianming. Tianming successfully made them choose to place importance on him and give up on Lin Xiaoding. He even said that it will be a waste if Tianming's talent is buried in a place like a vermilion bird, and that the optimal choice for Tianming is Heaven's Elysium, the overlord of the Grand Orient realm. Tianming was still speechless, but he was focusing on listening to Yixuan. Let me break it down for you. With your talent, you might still not have entered heavy wool within 10 years in such an area with poor resources. Here, mana, spirit ores, herbs, and hazards, they're all lacking. Worse still, the people here have too small a worldview and are narrow-minded. Yixuan added, Heaven's Elysium is where all the resources of the Grand Orient realm are gathered. Countless high-quality mana, even terrestrial and celestial mana are there. There are also droves of geniuses competing there. Yixuan said too much as he wanted to force Tianming to go at Heaven's Elysium. As for him, it will be the perfect chance for Tianming to replace Xiaoding since he has regained the Saint Beast War Soul. If you don't wish to trouble us, you may use Lin Xiaoding's name. In the end, it's up to you if you have the boldness to seize your future. Yixu uttered. Tianming was annoyed as she didn't like how the vice inspectors handled things. But going to Heaven's Elysium is an appealing option for him. He was thinking that if he accepted the offer, he would be going to a place far away. The person he'll miss the most is his mom. He wanted to ask first for his mother's opinion. He knows that it would be a hard decision for any mother to send her son into a new world filled with unimaginable risks and danger. He looked at Wei Jing and Wei Jing nodded. She wanted Tianming to follow his heart and chase his dream. Even the audience is cheering for Tianming to accept the offer as they believe that Tianming really belongs in Heaven's Elysium. They are also shouting that they will make Tianming their role model from now on. Tianming smiled and told the vice inspectors that he will go. However, he wanted to use his own name and make a name for himself. Both vice inspectors smiled and accepted what he wanted. They then leave and remind Tianming to prepare as he will go to Heaven's Elysium after 3 days. Yuling Jai, stop being in a daze. Hurry up and follow us, Yixuan ordered, and Yuling Jai then instantly followed them. As the vice inspectors and the Yulin family departed, it announced the Heaven's Sanctum Replacement Challenge. As Lai Tianming became Heaven's Elysium's disciple, the Lightning Manor was left with nothing. They will only be humiliated waiting for them. From now on, the Lightning Manor was no more, and Lai Tianming and Mu Yang were destined to be the peak of vermilion birds. That night, an intruder assassinated the drunk Lightning Sainor. At the same time, Liu Oing's whereabouts became unknown. At the Y Manor, they celebrated their victory and celebrated Tianming's identity as a Heaven's Elysium disciple. As per Tianking, Tianming has truly astonished him today. Tianming widely smiled and acknowledged Mu Yang as his great instructor. I didn't teach you well, it's your talent that's extraordinary, Mu Yang answered. Tiansong and Zikan also apologized to Lai Tianming and Wei Jing for their ignorance before and for not accepting them instantly in their family. Wei Jing smiled and told them that they should drop all grudges and help their father together. Tianking also ordered the youngsters to apologize to Tianming. There's nothing wrong with being ignorant while you're still young. Now that you've learned your lesson, remember to behave as members of the Y clan should, Tianming stated, and his cousins now politely accepted what he said. At this time, the Vermilion Bird also came together with Zhang Feiling and Princess King. The king explained to them that the 2 inspectors completely prevented him from helping. Now, he was ashamed he didn't really help the Y clan much this time. He was glad that the Y clan had also helped him root out the Lightning Manor which was plotting against his throne. Tianking told him that there was nothing for him to be ashamed of. He suggested moving on and preparing for a better relationship in their nation. If your majesty really is uncomfortable, why not grant a small wish for my grandson, Lai Tianming? Tianking uttered. The king then looked at Tianming and he believed that Tianming is definitely worthy of being the younger generation's role model. He asked for Tianming's wish and he promised that he would agree to it as long as it was within his ability. He doesn't know that Tianming is focusing on Zhang Feiling. Tianming's face becomes serious and fearlessly tells the king that he likes Zhang Feiling. The king's mood instantly changed and he walked away. Zhang Feiling told her father to just permit Tianming as she also wanted to go to Heaven's Elysium. She even warned her father that she would sneak out if he did not agree to what Tianming wanted. The king cried as he couldn't bear to send his daughter to such a faraway place. Tianming admits that his journey will be dangerous, so he promised to the king that he will ensure the safety of Zhang Feiling. The father and daughter are both emotional, and Princess King told Tianming to wait for at least 3 days for the approval of the king. Tianming then agreed to her, and he said that he will visit the Vermilion Bird Palace after 3 days in the hope of His Majesty granting his wish. Although he says that he can tell that the Vermilion Bird King treasures Feiling deeply, he believes that the chances of bringing her with him are slim. Meanwhile, Tianming visits Mita's grave and puts the feathers of Xiaoding's eagle in front of the grave. Even though this first beast of him is already dead, he still informs that he will go to Heaven's Elysium soon. Let's be brothers again in the next life, Tianming uttered. 2 days later, Tianming went back to the Y Manor from Mita's grave. His whole family was worried for him as he didn't come home for 2 days. Tianking then informed him that there were 2 people who wanted to see him. After that, decide if you still want to go to Heaven's Elysium. Tianming was clueless and he didn't even know what was going on. In just a minute, they arrived at Heaven's Sanctum. He is together with Mu Yang, Tianking, and Wei Jing. They met the old woman and the lady that is the same age as Tianming. They were the people who always observed Tianming from afar. Tianming seriously looked at them and he was confused about who these people were. According to Tianking, the old woman is Lai Jingyu from the Grand Orient sect. Lai Jingyu smiled at Tianming and told him that he can call her as Granny Lai. Tianming then greeted Jinghu, and he was thinking about what the Grand Orient sect is. He has only heard of the Grand Orient realm, which is part of the Flame Yellow continent. The Grand Orient realm is a vast realm filled with innumerable beings. It's composed of numerous smaller nations. Vermilion Bird is one such nation. Tianming heard that Heaven's Elysium is the ruler of the realm. Together with Lingji is her granddaughter, Lai Qingyu. She's younger than Tianming by 5 years, but her power is far beyond. Qingyu then greeted Tianming, and although Tianming doesn't know which level Qingyu is, he believes that someone like her is considered a legendary genius who only appears once every tens of thousands of years in the Vermilion Bird. Because of this, Tianming concludes that the Grand Orient sect is much larger than what he expected. Lingju politely asks Tianking to explain to Tianming about what they have discussed together earlier. Tianking then agreed and decided to start talking about lifespan. He asked if Tianming has an idea of where their lifespan comes from, and Tianming then answered that it originates from an ancestor on the maternal side surnamed Lai. It is what Wei Jing told him. As per Tianking, the ancestors that Tianming said actually came from the Lai Saint clan of the Grand Orient sect, and their lifespan is actually the reason why the Lai Saint clan has been able to reign over the Grand Orient realm for thousands of years. Is the Grand Orient sect as large as Heaven's Elysium? Tianming suddenly asked, and Jingwu then answered yes. However, Heaven's Elysium has been slightly stronger for the past thousands of years, so they're temporarily ruling over the Grand Orient realm. She said that their Grand Orient sect has just as many geniuses as Heaven's Elysium does. Jingyu also added that the Grand Orient realm is filled with over 700 nations, and its border stretches far and wide. But their Lai Saint clan has been one of the most powerful clans for countless centuries. Only the clans that have thrived for tens of thousands of years can be crowned as a saint clans, and the Grand Orient sect is passed down through their Lai Saint clan. This means every sect master is also the head of the Lai Saint clan. Tianming never heard of this. He knows that the Vermilion Bird is certainly too small. He cannot wait to go out and explore beyond this place. Excuse me, may I ask what everything you just said has to do with me? Tianming asked. Jingwu said that everything she explained had everything to do with Tianming. She told Tianming to explain what he understood about lifespan. And as Tianming knew, it is a curse that causes people to age. But then, Jingwu said that he was wrong. According to her, lifespan is the exact cause behind their Lai Saint clan's glory. It's the source of their incredible aptitude for cultivation. While lifespan does speed up the aging of their body and drain their life away, their cultivation speeds up by leaps and bounds once they get rid of it. Their ancestors have suffered from lifespan for a great deal of time, and they figured out a way to break the curse. They've learned how to break the curse and convert its banes directly into talent. The more rings one has, the more gifted they are. An example of this is, Qingyu has a bloodline of 3 incarnations, which gave her the chance to challenge the saint stage in the future. Within the entire clan, there are not more than 10 of them, and each of them has the chance of breaking through to the saint stage. Tianming becomes excited upon hearing it. Jingwu also added that the premise is that their lifebound beast's tier is high enough. Did you know that throughout the history of our Lai Saint clan, all those with 4 Bane rings were the pinnacle of existence in the Grand Orient realm? and that each of them would usher in at least 500 years of prosperity and greatness. I don't know that, Tianming answered with a shocking face. Because of how the granny talking with excitement, her spit is getting to Tianming. On the other side, Tianming was confused if the Vermilion King would allow him to take Zhang Feiling away. Before, the king hesitated because their initial destination was Heaven's Elysium. Now, they'll be going to the Grand Orient sect that's tied to the Saint Lai clan and their lifespan. Tianming concludes that the king might allow it this time. They went out from Heaven's sanctum and Jingwu was glad, that's why she kept staring at Tianming. But then, Tianming was annoyed and wanted the granny to stop looking at him even for a moment. Qingwu also smiled at Tianming, and Tianming sensed that Qingwu's gentle and elegant demeanor attracts people. He asked Qingwu's current stage of unity, and Qingwu humbly answered that she only reached the 4th level of unity. She even said that she only reached this level as she's not talented. Tianming was wowed when Qingwu said that she was not talented. In fact, she reached the 4th level of unity, while the Vermilion Bird's previous first genius Lin Xiaoding only reached the 1st level of unity. Qingwu smiled as she said that Tianming will be able to catch up in a few years since he has a 5-bane ring physique. Even old Jingwu agreed to what Qingwu said. She said that Tianming will awaken later, so he should not be worried about his current cultivation level. She knows that Tianming's goal is the saint stage, so she advises Tianming that he must look beyond what's before him. Once he reaches that stage, Jingwu believes that Tianming will live beyond 200 years. In fact, if he can accomplish it before 70, he'll be one of the Grand Orient realm's powerhouses. Once Tianming becomes a saint, he'll be able to ask heaven for another 100 years. In that 100 years, work on utilizing the talent of his 5-bane ring physique and continued cultivating and expanding his lifespan. Jingwu knows that Tianming's future is bright, and she's looking forward to it. Meanwhile, they arrived at the Vermilion Bird's palace, but then they noticed that there were no guards, and Jingwu suddenly senses something. She feels the presence of someone named Lang Yichen. She immediately jumped inside the palace and ordered both Tianming and Qingwu to follow. The guards were inside the palace and most of them were killed. The people from Heaven's Elysium are here and they tied up Zhang Feiling. As per Yixu, the sanctum replacement of Aquamarine has been very successful. She also mentioned that Murong Kanghai is dead, and there are no descendants left, so the Yuling family is now free from worries. At this point, it can see from Zhang Feiling's eyes that she's full of sadness. Jingyu saw them all and confirmed her prediction. "Why is an inspector of Heaven's Elysium like you here?" she immediately asked. Tianming instantly saw Zhang Feiling and he was worried for the lady. Feiling also saw him, but since she was tied up, she cannot go to Tianming. "What are the people from the Lai Saint clan doing here?" someone asked from the Yuling clan. Jinghu then let them know that Tianming is her son's Lai Wudi's illegitimate son. She told them that she had searched all over the Grand Orient realm for his grandson. "Naturally, I'm bringing him back to the Grand Orient sect with me," she added. Tianming was confused because they had agreed with Jingwu that he would be adopted, and now he becomes the illegitimate son. But he instantly forgets about it as he was worried for Zhang Feiling. "That's Lai Wudi's son." "You're wrong, he's the disciple of Heaven's Elysium. We recruited him 3 years ago, and now we're back to pick him up," the old man from Heaven's Elysium said. Jingwu then told them that Tianming will no longer be admitted to Heaven's Elysium since he was now part of the Lai Saint clan, and is a talented heir of 3 banes. "You'll chase him out in the end anyway, even if you take him with you," she added. The old man then accepts what she said and tells his companion that they should leave. Jingyu stopped them and ordered them to leave behind her granddaughter-in-law, and she's referring to Zhang Feiling. To their surprise, the old man said that Zhang Feiling will be the new servant of Lady Long. Upon hearing the word servant, Tianming becomes furious at them. His eyes were flaming in anger and he was confused about who's this Lady Long that the old man mentioned. And he then saw a short lady together with these people. This lady was so quiet and only stared at them. He concludes that this is Lady Long. This woman's killing intent makes him instinctively fear her. The force he feels is truly that of a heaven-defying genius of the Grand Orient realm. Jinghu politely asked Lady Long to let Zhang Feiling go, and she even explained that Zhang Feiling is her granddaughter-in-law, that's why she doesn't want them to bring Feiling into Heaven's Elysium. "And what if I say no?" Lady Long answered with a fierce face. "If not, then you all won't be able to leave Vermilion Bird," Jinghu answered. The old man warned Jinghu as he believes that if they will fight against Jinghu's clan, Jinghu won't have the chance. Yixuan on the other side also thought that Jinghu was just bluffing. "You've all underestimated me. If I truly wished to trade a life for a life, killing Lady Long wouldn't be difficult at all. It doesn't matter how heaven-defying her talent is. She's still developing. In my hands, she's just a chickling. It's worth exchanging the life of Lady Long with our threes. So would you like to test me?" I'll actually do it, Jinghu confidently stated. The old man was annoyed that Jinghu knows that they won't take any risks when it comes to Lady Long. Lady Long, although we wouldn't lose if a fight were to start, she's known for being crazy. I'm afraid. I don't think it's worth taking such a risk for a mere servant. What do you say? The old man whispered to Lady Long. At this point, Lady Long decided to let Zhang Feiling go. Zhang Feiling then runs to Tianming. I will remember that you threatened me today, Lai Jinghu, Lady Long said while she slightly smiled. All right, stop bragging. I get it. You're super duper awesome and badass. One day, the world shall tremble at your feet. You're the main character, you're a special snowflake. Blah blah blah, Tianming said with annoyance. Lady Long stared at him and called an ant. Zhang Feiling pointed to Lady Long and according to her, Lady Long stole 5 of her sealed abilities. She doesn't have any idea how Lady Long did it, but she said that Lady Long took those 5 seals and transferred them into a sphere for her to store them. She even forces Zhang Feiling to spiritually attach to her. It was a grade 7 attachment and raised her strength. That's why Lady Long wanted Zhang Feiling to be her maid. Lady Long confidently stands while admitting that Zhang Feiling is a good treasure. She believes that Tianming doesn't qualify for Zhang Feiling. She was asking for Tianming's help to take care of Zhang Feiling for the next few years. Lady Long pointed her finger at Tianming and said that she will take away Zhang Feiling after she exterminates the Lai clan. If you take care of her until then, I promise to spare you life, Lady Long added. Tianming then whispered to old Jinghu, asking for some help to seize those 5 seals back. But then, Jinghu said that it'll be troublesome to snatch it from Lady Long. She believes that Zhang Feiling's life is more important now. As for the seals, she advises Tianming to take it back 10 years later. After all, she knows that Tianming's talent isn't lower because of his Bane rings. He just has a later starting point as per Jinghu. Zhang Feiling held Tianming's shoulder and she said that it's fine for her as she will not get her 5 seals since she still has 5. Lady Long, you said that you'll exterminate my whole clan in a decade, right? No need to wait a decade. I'll go to Heaven's Elysium by myself before then, Tianming proclaimed. He was planning to remove Lady Long's head in front of all the Heaven's Elysium while taking back Zhang Feiling's seals. Lady Long thought that Tianming was only boasting. She even said that Tianming should better wait until she exterminates Tianming's entire clan. They all then leave and Zhang Feiling asked Tianming if they should go to her father. When they arrived, his father was already awake as he fainted when the people from Heaven's Elysium attacked the palace. The king was glad that his daughter is safe, and Zhang Feiling acknowledged Tianming's help for saving her. The king was confused about how Tianming saved his daughter since the people who came are from Heaven's Elysium and one of them is Lady Long who is impossible for Tianming to be defeated. He then noticed that there were people besides Tianming. Tianming was glad to introduce King Wu and Jinghu to the Vermilion King. Lai Tianming told the Vermilion King everything that had happened. The king realized that he couldn't protect his daughter, Zhang Feiling, so he entrusted her to Tianming. Then, Lai Tianming brought Zhang Feiling with him and followed Lai Jinghu to the Grand Orient realm. They are riding Jinghu's companion beast which is the Kunpeng. It has 2 forms. One can cover 10,000 miles of flight in a day, while the other can be underwater. As per Jinghu, it's a lifebound beast of dual attributes and dual species. In the past, their Lai Saint clan had even been called the Kunpeng clan. Upon seeing the Grand Orient sect, Tianming was amazed as it was bigger than he imagined. When they arrived, the sect was a good sightseeing. Jinghu was planning on making Tianming as the junior sect master. At Kunpeng's sacred hall, several people were outside the hall and were angrily asking for Lai Wudi to get out and face them all. These people were mad because their whole Wind bloodline was ruined by him according to the people. They are annoyed that their legacy now is at risk and Lai Wudi still dares to hide his face from these people. They knocked on the door of the hall and they wanted Lai Wudi to hand over the supreme blood. All of them suddenly look up above as they all heard the voice of Lai Jinghu and are now irritated that these people are revolting again even if she just only leaves for a bit. A strong whirlwind landed in front of Kunpeng Hall causing all the people to move away. Do you think I'm dead? Get the hell out of my way, Lai Jinghu ordered. Tianming stared at the people and he was clueless why all these people called the patriarch by his name. Even Ying Huo comes out in confusion. Both of them were curious why the legendary Kunpeng's hall is in this state. Matriarch, you're finally back. We've been waiting. The man said. Waiting? Waiting for what? To drink the water I use to wash my feet. What the hell are all of you crowding around here for? Get lost. Lai Jinghu answered them. A man said that Jinghu's son is the trashiest sect master in all their sect's history. Jinghu was furious and asked them all what they wanted. They said that they wanted Wudi to come out. If he doesn't, then, Matriarch, make the decision, and please open the gates so we can talk inside. the man uttered. Jinyu instantly opened the gate without any hesitation and ordered all of them to come inside the hall. When they entered, they confirmed that Lai Wudi was not really inside. As Tianming noticed, the surroundings inside this hall is very dirty, and there was a smell of alcohol everywhere. He then concludes that maybe because his grandma is not here for a long time. The seats are too rotten and had obviously been moved here from somewhere else. The man told Jingu that they didn't come here to cause trouble. Instead, they have important matters regarding the Lai Saint clan's Wind bloodline to discuss with Lai Wudi. They were begging for Jingu to tell Wudi about this matter. Otherwise, the Apex branch will have doomed the Wind bloodline as per the lady. Jingu knows that these people were just pretending for what they wanted, so she ordered them to tell straight to the point about what they need. As per the man, the informants they have in the metal, thunder, and fire bloodlines have received word of it already. In 5 days, members from those 3 bloodlines will force Lai Wudi to pick a genius from among them to be the junior sect master. Those of them in the Wind bloodline have controlled the Lai Saint clan for 10,000 years, and throughout all that time, their prestigious legacy has never once been broken. But in the past millennium, their line has produced fewer and fewer talented descendants, causing their great clan to fall to these lows. Not to mention, Lai Wudi already had his body horribly ruined from what happened back then. He's already in his 40s, and he can have a chance to birth a male heir in this lifetime as per the man. They said that the moment the Junior Secret Master is selected, the future legacy of the Grand Orient sect will be up to one of the other 3 bloodlines. That's why all of them from the 7 starry branches are unwilling to let the position of the Junior Sect Master, thus losing the position of the Grand Orient sect to the other bloodlines. They screamed that they wanted to stand out and defend the glory of the Wind bloodline. So, how do you intend to defend our pride? Jingu asked. Though not all of those here are for selfish interests, most of them are. No matter how far the Lai Saint clan has fallen, the Lai Mausoleum is eternal. Only the Sect Master and Junior Sect Master were allowed to enter the final resting place of the great ancestors of the Lai Saint clan, as per an ancient order given by their founding ancestors. According to this man, to ensure the position of Junior Sect Master remains within the Wind bloodline, those of them of the 7 starry Wind branches are willing to contribute. The 7 of them are willing to let Lai Wudi adopt their talented sons, who they have raised with care since birth. He suddenly becomes emotional while saying that as long as they let Lai Wudi be assigned the Junior Sect Master, they can stop the other 3 bloodlines from depriving the Junior Sect Master position. The 7 of them swear that they would no longer consider whoever is appointed Junior Sect Master as their own son. While most of them were crying, Tianming was annoyed as he sensed something fishy. Wow, how touching. I almost cried myself a river. I'm already touched by the fact that you're all fighting for your own children to be the young sect master, he suddenly said. All of them were annoyed that Tianming interfered, and they thought Tianming is just an outsider, and is not part of their sect. Old Jingu smiled and held Tianming's hand. You think your degenerate spawns deserve to be my grandchildren? Not one of the 7 could catch my eye. Don't bring them here to embarrass their fathers. Not of those 7 boys can compare to my granddaughter, Kingu. Yet, you dare to plot for the position of Junior Sect Master. Dream on, Jingu stated. The people became hysterical as they thought that Jingu was willing to let the position of Junior Sect Master flow to the other 3 bloodlines. Jingu screamed and ordered them all to shut up. She then proudly introduced to everyone that Tianming is the illegitimate son of Lai Wudi, and is the young sect master of the clan. Although this is not what Tianming expected, he feels that Jingu really treated him like his own grandson, so he is willing to see this through to the end. The people were jaw-dropping. Not all this time. Lai Wudi has an illegitimate son. Jingu explained that during Lai Wudi's youth, he was handsome and dashing, and before he got married to a lady named Muhi, he traveled around and made love with a few women. She told everyone that among this girl is from a vermilion bird named Wai Jing. She said that Lai Wudi didn't want her to disturb his son's life, but these people forced her to do so. She proudly says that Lai Tianming is Wudi's flesh and blood. She even said that Tianming is just 16 years old, which is 1 year older than Kingu. Tianming at this point was thinking that Jingu is really good at making up stories because of how this old lady lied about his age. One man also concludes that Jingu is just lying and only paid Tianming to act as his grandson. And Jingu only laughed at her response to them, which made them all confused. I'm laughing at your short-sightedness. My grandson Tianming has lacked proper guidance in the past 16 years, having had to train in a backwater nation, so naturally, his level isn't that high. By the time you all know how truly talented and powerful my grandson is, I bet everyone here will kneel and shiver before him, Jingu stated. The crowd then laughed at what Jingu said, and they even challenged to inspect Tianming's talent. So many years of resentment, so many years of hatred. Back then, Jingyu watched her son fall from the skies to the ground. Ans has been devastated ever since. Lai Jingyu was pressured almost every day by various forces with ulterior motives. She has been struggling to support herself alone and has long been physically and mentally exhausted. And now, this grandson has finally appeared. Tianming looked at them with fierce eyes. He extended his arm and removed the metal cover to show everyone his 5 bane rings. The people were about to be annoyed by how Tianming talked to them, but then they realized that Tianming had the 5 bane rings. That's right, this is the body of the 5 bane rings that only the first ancestors had. Why don't you kneel and worship now? Jingyu proclaimed. That's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you wish to have another part of this recap, please give us at least 2,000 likes. Please don't forget to comment and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Until next time.